Today I'm going to show you how to get your green screen looking as good as possible in your OBS. I'm using Streamlabs OBS right now, but process is going to be the exact same in OBS. So stick with me here. We're going to go through the whole process of making this thing look halfway decent, which I've said a few times before, but I said I would make a video explaining all of what I did to try to make this look as good as possible and what you can do to make yours look as good as possible. As you can tell behind me, it's not like perfectly flat. It's not free of shadows or imperfections like you may have seen in other videos say it has to be perfect and everything like that, which obviously if you do want the best result, you're gonna want the most even lighting, and you're gonna want to actually light your subject differently than your green screen, and that's just going to make the camera easier to pick up the different tones and everything, and leave that more uniform, non-shadowed green behind me, and be able to remove it and make it a cleaner image and everything, and not leave any static behind because of these shadows or because of the darker parts of the material. So there's a few things that I like to do before I even start doing anything with the actual filters or anything. And once you get the filters set up, you're good. It's just actually getting it set up for your particular lighting setup and space that you might have, or the green screen that you're running with. And if it's like mine, you might need to have a little patience and really try to get the webcam to make it look good. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go into the properties of the webcam. So here we got the webcam. All this stuff, honestly, I would probably leave by itself. But you're going to click configure video, and that's going to pop up here. I'll drag it over here. It's going to pop up this little guy here. Oh, geez, we've lost everything. I didn't want that to happen. We'll get those back up. All right. Now we're going to drag this back over. Hopefully not lose it. So we got our brightness, contrast. We can't adjust the hue, saturation, sharpness, white balance, all that kind of good stuff. So what I like to do is I like to turn auto white balance off. And then that's gonna keep, if like the lighting changes at all, and like kind of maybe a door opens in your room or something and more light gets let in, this auto white balance is gonna adjust those levels and everything to make it look what it believes is natural. So for me personally, once I get everything set up, I've found that 4250 is a pretty decent, natural looking thing here. And then I go over to camera control as well. I'm gonna turn off autofocus because I don't like the focusing automatically. That can also just kind of mess up things and make it not look as good. So basically you just want to figure out where the focus looks the best. So basically I'm about as far away as possible. I usually drop it to about like 5 or so, depending on where I am, but it's looking like 0 is looking pretty good. And it's looking like the exposure is at -5, which I usually leave it at -5, but I turn auto exposure off. Honestly, we don't really need low light compensation because it's pretty well lit in here. And that's gonna be basically just like the quick thing that I do. Now once you get everything actually going and you get your filter in there, you may want to adjust these settings a little bit, but I would avoid doing it too much. I sometimes go up a little bit on the sharpness just to sharpen up the image, just make it not look like it was filmed on like a phone camera. So we're gonna okay that. We're gonna done that. All right. Then the next up, we're gonna go to your filters. So on webcam, you're gonna right click and you'll get this little menu. You're gonna click filters. I already have a chroma key and a color correction filter on here, so that's why I wasn't messing with the gamma or the contrast, anything too much in the actual settings of the webcam. You can do that all here. And basically what you're trying to do is you're just wanting to make that webcam look a little bit better. So this is kind of how it looks right now. Obviously it kind of looks low quality and a little bit cheap. With a little bit of color correction, you can go ahead and change that, make it look just like a little bit better. And honestly, this is all going to be personal preference, and there's a million videos online on YouTube about color correction and making an image look a lot different than its original form. So I've already done this, and this was just my personal preference of what I thought looked good. You may think, oh, that's a trash setup, and you might be right, because I'm not a photography expert. I'm just a dude who's trying to get things going for himself a little bit, so bear with me. Anyway, you got all that going. This color is going to be a slightly off-white, just to kind of mute some of that stuff a little bit. But basically, to add filters and everything like that, you're either going to hit this plus or minus button. If you hit the minus button, it'll get rid of whichever one you have selected. If you hit the plus button, you can get these different plugins and everything that you can go ahead and do. You're going to want to choose chroma key. So filter name chroma key 1. We're going to click chroma key 1. And this is how it looks when you first set it up. So default settings and everything, you can tell here, it shows up. I guess you can see this the whole time. It's not in the way. I'm just tripping. Just the way it's set up for me. Anyway, as you can tell, there's still like the wrinkles up in the corners and everything, and you can see that, and it's quite apparent. Someone might call this good. They might be like, okay, yeah, I'm done. Word. Call it. Not me though. I didn't like the glow, or when I would watch someone stream or watch a video, it always kind of bothered me if I could see like strong noise, or I could see somewhere where it didn't fully chroma out the image. Really nitpicky stuff. So when it comes to me, I wanted to do it the best I could. So starting out, you have these options on like the presets, which those work great. Definitely nothing wrong with them, especially if you have a true chroma key green. If it was like specifically purchased for a green screen, that should be the most ideal option for you. Otherwise, if you're using a blue screen, obviously click blue. If you're using a magenta, click magenta. Who would have thought? But for me, I chose custom. And what I would do is I would turn off that filter, and now I would adjust this until I got exactly what I thought the color was behind me. I would choose one of the most uniform colors back behind here, and would just try to match it up. So I'd watch the little square over here and kind of drag things around. And honestly, I'm almost thinking it's a little more blue than that. So with a little fine tweaking, you can get that in there. And you don't want to go too far over to your white side, because if you do that, some terrifying things happen, and it'll just chroma you out entirely. You'll just say bye. As you can tell, as I get more to some actual color, that's what happens. That's so weird. Whoa. So if I chroma out red, apparently I'm like totally red. That's insane. We're learning new things here. I don't know how it switched to red. But let's go back to our green. Whoa. Look at that. What's happening here? This is trippy, man. Let's turn that off. Alright, before we do this too, we're going to turn the similarity and the smoothness way down. We can turn this back on. And now it really shouldn't be doing anything, right? Actually, it may not be blue. I might have been tripping on that. It's kind of more yellow, isn't it? Might be the light and the way I set it up with the thing, with the white balance. So, that being said, I think it's a little more green. There we go. So that might seem really close to just the normal green anyway. And yeah, it might be. But now I take the similarity. Oh, look at that. Boom. And on that default one, it was at a similarity of 400. And we still had all the terrible wrinkles in the background and everything like that. But as you can see here, I mean, I still got a pretty harsh green outline on me. But overall, not too bad. I'm actually kind of, I might keep this setting that I got instead of the other one. Maybe. We'll see. Alright. So if we go any higher, do we start removing myself? Kind of hard to tell. That's actually looking pretty solid already. So then now you just go up with the, oh god. Oh no. I'm vaporizing into thin air, guys. Now I'm looking like a Casper. So I mean, I guess if you wanted to do this and have like a kind of ghostly effect going on, you could definitely do that. But let's drop this back down a little bit. This noise around the edge of me is okay because that's where the smoothness. Come and drop that in. Try to cut out all that green you see around the outside of me. I mean, that looks alright. And then the key color spill reduction, basically that's going to try to mute those colors around like it was just around me in general. So you can tell I just go full black and white. Which, I mean, if you don't want any green on you and you want like a black and white effect, I guess this works. But we're not trying to do that. We're just trying to make this look pretty good. Was that 100? Just go about 158. Why not? Cool. And now obviously with this you can go back there and kind of adjust what you think. Like look, just barely even that tweak right there, making all me disappear. So basically you want to stay away from the white, because obviously that is the culmination of all colors, all light that forms white. So obviously that's why it keys or it chromas myself entirely. I see why it turns that color now. Let's click back up in here. That's about how it looked originally, right? But we have our settings way lower. And basically it's just a bunch of trial and error of this until you finally get something that you think looks really good. Which overall, I mean, this stuff is not looking too bad. Certainly not shabby. That's how that looks without any of the smoothness on there. Looks pretty rough. There you go. And honestly, a lot of this has to do with your lighting. But then once you get it kind of there, you can also just adjust a few of these things if you really wanted to. But that's how that pretty much looks. I'm going to turn that one off. This is the one that I do have. It looks pretty identical, if I'm being honest. But as you'll see, this is kind of a pale looking color. My similarity is all the way down at 300 on this one, smoothness at 25. I messed with the settings here a little bit. But that is basically how you're gonna do it. It's very, very simple. Honestly, I did that brand new. The first time I did it, it took me forever to get everything figured out because I didn't really even know what any of the tools did that was sitting in front of me. It was just kind of trial and error of, oh, what does this slider do? And then I found out what that slider did. And yeah, pretty simple though. And especially with a $5 piece of fabric, like $2 to $5 pieces of fabric that I got from Walmart and pinned up with some map push pins. I would consider that a pretty good job for sure. If I brought you from my other video just about the whole, just pretty much me rambling for 10 minutes about going to Walmart and getting a couple pieces of fabric, if I brought you over from that video, I would be honored if you'd hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, get notified whenever I make a video, because I would love for you to join me on my journey of making some YouTube videos that might be helpful to some people, might just be entertaining to me. I'm going to be doing all kinds of stuff. I want to do informative videos. I also I play a lot of games, so I'll probably upload some gaming content. I also just like being goofy. I like writing. I like a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to be trying to upload a whole lot of different content that would appeal to anybody who likes the similar things to me. And I think there'd probably be plenty of you out there. And I have been on the verge of wanting to make YouTube videos for like literally a decade, over a decade, honestly. And I just never did it. And finally decided, you know what? Forget it. I'm sick of sitting back and not doing what I feel I want to do in the back of my mind. So here I am, coming forward, trying to put together a little bit of content, a little bit of videos, get something under my belt just to say, hey, I tried to do it. If you're about it, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the content, if you think I'm a ridiculous person, if I'm a total joke, an idiot. I'd like to know all this kind of stuff. It means a lot, actually. I'd love that feedback. It'd be sweet. But otherwise, I appreciate y'all, love y'all. I'll catch you next time. Later.